But I realized that I had built an entire life around trying to never let anybody else ever feel uncomfortable. I had built an entire life around never pinging off of anyone else's baggage. And I had a whole slew of tools about how to do that. They were exhausting to employ. And I just realized today, I don't actually have to live that way. Hey everybody, Allison Gardner here. For the last 2 weeks, I have just felt wound so tight and have felt so stirred up and on edge and watching things play out all around me and watching changes happen that I'm not sure that I feel ready for. And it's been a number of times now where I've told someone that I feel like Lady Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. Probably like, really? Lady Galadriel? Well, she, in talking to Elrond and talking to Gandalf, well, I remembered in the context of the book better than the movie, but she talks about the ending of the life age of an earth. Oh, that's actually a Gandalf line, come to think about it. When he's changing from Gandalf Grey to Gandalf the White, he talks about how every moment was as the life age of the earth. But when you kind of hear things from Galadriel's perspective, she talks about how the age of elves is ending and that she is going to diminish and go off into the west because her time is over. And I have just very much felt in the last little while that a time is ending. An age of the earth is passing. And I've just felt so uptight about that because I was like, what am I supposed to do with this information? What am I looking for? How do I engage with it? How do I, like, where do I fit in all of this? And just felt a lot of conflict. And as I was describing these feelings to my friend this morning, we went discovering. And I found a room, metaphorically speaking, where there was many different paths to get me to the other side. And all that I needed to do was get to the other side of the room. And all I needed to do was take myself across the room. And yes, I know I have now said that twice, but that concept felt so foreign to me. Because didn't I need to choose the right path that would get me across the room? Didn't I need to be very careful about selecting that path and selecting my tools and choosing how to get to where I was going? And again and again and again I felt, no, just cross the room. And mind you guys, this is like, imagine not Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's the last one, the Last Crusade. So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when they're going to find the did I mention I was tired? I feel like that's where I opened. I'm getting to the part of why I'm tired in just a second. They're trying to find the cup. There we go. And Indiana Jones has these challenges that he has to cross. And I was envisioning these paths like the letters, when he had to pick the right letters, and if he missed the right letters, you'd fall through the floor. When in actuality, as I took a step into this room, it was like Indiana Jones taking that step of faith, where you can't see the walkway because it blends in to all the rock around it. And as I took this step forward in faith this morning, because the instruction was just get across the room, as I did that, I realized there were actually multiple paths across the room that all just kind of blended in until I started walking and I was experiencing them. And I paused again. And I went, but how do I know which one's the right one to choose? Because there's like 5 different options. And once more, the Spirit instructed, just walk across the room. That's all. That's all I gotta do. Just walk across the room. Don't I need any tools? No, just walk across the room. Well, but do some of them have better views than others, or am I going to run into obstacles or dead ends or anything? No. Just walk across the room. And as I have been pondering that today, I always love how Heavenly Father works and He brings different pieces together. I found an article and it caused me to ponder about my life up to this point and to think about how many rules that I put in place to protect myself. Now, if you guys have watched any of my videos before, you know that I kind of have if you can't love yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you struggle with loving yourself, there we go. That's how I set this up. Then you do a lot to try and impress others and show up for others. And you try to be really helpful because you're afraid about what people think about you. Well, today I realized there's another piece. And this other piece is that I also work really hard to never set off anybody else's triggers and to never impact on anyone else's boundaries. And what crossing the room showed me is that I have so many more rules for myself and instructions for myself and standards for myself than the Lord has ever given me. Because there was this story inside of me that if I ever triggered somebody else, then I was bad. And that if I ever made a mistake and I hurt somebody, or somebody got frustrated, or somebody got mad, or I disappointed somebody, then that must mean that I was worthless. Not worthless, but literally my worth was decreasing as if I triggered somebody, or it would drop another notch if they got frustrated, and it would drop another notch if I embarrassed them, and it would drop another notch if they felt awkward. And so I realized that my entire life has been set up around trying to never... Our upstairs neighbors just got home. I apologize for the noise. But I realized that I had built an entire life around trying to never let anybody else ever feel uncomfortable. I had built an entire life around never pinging off of anyone else's baggage. And I had a whole slew of tools about how to do that. And they were exhausting to employ. And I just realized today, I don't actually have to live that way. I don't have to carry those tools around. because what's mine is mine and what's theirs is theirs. And I mean, this doesn't mean that I'm going to go pinging off of everybody and pushing their buttons and trying to trigger them. That's not what I mean at all, but I can't carry the load of everybody else's baggage. And I can't let the fear of their stuff keep me from living my life. Because I have my own life to live, and I realized that this is an entirely new age of my own life. This is a new direction for me that I've never gone before. And so as I'm scanning out there, trying to figure out how to navigate it and what to do about it, this is me changing. And this is me experiencing the world in a new way. And the reason why I've felt so sad and I've been grieving is partly what I talked about last week, about grieving the life that might have been, and grieving my children, and grieving opportunities and things not going the way that I thought. But this is also me grieving how much I hurt myself unnecessarily. This is also me finally feeling, because I have awareness that I imposed so much hurt on myself that I just didn't know any better. And being willing to give that to Christ and realizing that I can. Because of the atonement, I don't have to carry that anymore. I don't have to hurt myself like that anymore, because I know better. And how powerful that is to let go. And I'm also realizing that that process takes time. I've been wound really tight for a month probably, for weeks if not a full month, watching and observing and afraid and stressed. And so now that I'm just going, I don't need to control that anymore. That's not required of me. I can't control that, period. Letting that go is a huge relief. So it makes sense that I'm tired. And it makes sense that I'm weary. And it's okay to let myself feel all of those things. When I set out with some really epic goals, they felt so exciting and so thrilling, and I was just ready to rush ahead. I am so grateful that Heavenly Father took me on pit stops to learn how to feel, to not be ashamed of it, to not be afraid of it, to not run from it. Because feeling what used to be allows us to let go and allows us to let the atonement work to heal. Because until we feel it, we don't even realize it's there. And so I'm grateful that Heavenly Father took the time with me today to help me realize what's there and to help me realize that there's something new. And though I'm kind of nervous to see what other things I might become aware of in the future, I'm grateful that He stuck with me so that I could figure it out, so that I can let it go, and then I can enter a new life age of myself. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.